How that you touched upon the Vision 2030, because now I feel it's becoming a global brand, and it's been what, like 8 years, right, since it was
2016.
launched. So we have 6 years more to go. So if we look around, so many things have been achieved, and also Saudi is really going in a fast direction towards 2030. Also, a couple of years ago, the national investment strategy was launched. So I think you can touch on those both points.
Awesome. So let's talk about the Vision 2030, which I'm sure all of you have heard about it by now. Since His Royal Highness, back in 2016, announced the Vision 2030, it became the blueprint of a prosperous and sustainable future for Saudis. Me personally, I believe it will be the blueprint for many other nations once they see the development that's taking place in Saudi, and once they see the impact the vision have on its population and on the visitors coming to Saudi between now and 2030 in terms of quality of life, investment ecosystem, and all of that. The vision itself is based on 3 pillars. It's a vibrant society, thriving economy, and ambitious nation. I don't want to bore you with targets of the vision, but I would like to mention some that are close to my heart to show you since the announcement of the vision until today, where have we progressed and what we achieved. So one of the targets was the unemployment rate. Back in 2016, the unemployment rate in the kingdom was 12%. The target is to lower that to 7% by 2030. Last year, that number was well below 9.6, I think, percent, and that shows you how well advanced we are, and still we have 6 years and 3 quarters or what have you to 2030. Another very important target we're looking at is the FDI contribution to GDP when it comes to percentage-wise. The target is to increase that from 1.3% to 5.7%. Also, the ownership percentage of Saudis in the kingdom. In 2016, the number was 47% home ownership for local residents in the kingdom, and the target is to achieve 70% by 2030. Last year, that number was well above 60%. I could keep going on, but what I want to show you here is that we're still halfway through the vision, and many of these targets are very close to be achieved. And some targets have already been achieved. When we look at the women participation in the workforce, one of the targets was to increase the women participation in the workforce from 22% to 30% by 2030. By end of 2022, the number was 35%. So we've achieved the target and we exceeded it by 5%. All of this proves that the vision, it has its check marks, it has its people working on it. There is initial reviews, continuous checks to make sure the targets are being achieved. Another example I'd like to give is one of the targets is for the national tourism strategy. It was announced to have 100 million visits annually by 2030. It was recently announced that this target has been revised to 150 million visits. That's a 50% increase. And to have a big increase in a national strategy, it came because there are reviews, there are check marks, there are studies that shows that there is enough demand when it comes to tourism coming into Saudi Arabia. The investment when it comes to hospitality and quality of life is taking place on a steady manner. So that is one of the reasons that the target was revised to increase it to 150. This is in general about the Vision 2030. Now let's talk about what mechanism the government has founded to support this vision.